Welcome to Weight Loss Wednesday, episode 90. This is the post UWL 2018 show. I'm Kenny Malcolm. AJ, she's still recovering, but she'll be on in just a moment to say a couple words with JP. Though I'm here to say a couple words about what we could do to move the next step. And that is gain some momentum, which doesn't mean that you have to take all 150 things that you learned this weekend and start up, but it's to start with 1%. As I mentioned in the post just a little while ago, start with 1%. The Kaizen Way. There's a book that you can read. It came out maybe 10, 15 years ago already. You don't have to put all that thinking, I got to do everything to make this happen. You just need to start with one step. What I started with is I started to do a light run. Now, I didn't go run a marathon or a half marathon or a 5K. I ran around the block. That's something I used to do a lot, but now I haven't done it for 3 years. So I ran around the block yesterday. Today I ran around the block again and did little foam rolling because my legs were hurting, as JP talked about in his workout boot camp class. But we're not going to call it boot camp because it's not quite called like a boot camp. There's no boots involved. But in his thing, he talked about, what did he talk about? He talked about foam rolling. So I used the foam roller, and it felt so good. It got the pain out, and I'm able to walk again with no problem. So that's the first 2 days. I did one step, and then I did a little step more. So that's 1% and 1%, that's 2. Within a month, I'll be doing 30% more. Get it? So, I have a, what do you mean?
Hey, Kenny.
What's up?
It's Luigi.
Luigi, where's that pasta?
Hey, listen, Kenny, did you used to work for Goodyear? Because your food tastes like rubber. Ha, 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 ha.
So we had a little comedian episode here. Come on. Did you guys like that show, that clip that they played? I think the second day of AJ on stage at the Improv
conference?
Center. It was amazing. So it was good. So that's where I wanted to start, and I think there's some questions. JP, did you have a question?
I have a question of when are we going to bring AJ out?
When are we bringing AJ out? And the answer is
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Malcolm, one of our 2 camera people we have even behind the camera today. So before I bring JP on, I just want to thank you guys so much for supporting it's actually the 4th annual Live Ultimate Weight Loss Conference, the 2nd in Vegas. I want to thank some people that made some contributions. So first of all, Instant Pot, my favorite pressure cooker. They donated a 3-quart baby iPot. And actually 2 people won it. It's a long story, but congratulations to the 2 winners. Well, we actually had to get another one. And that was given out at the carnival. So thank you, Instant Pot, for all your support. And there's a new kid in town. There's this new cooker, and I don't quite know how to use it yet. So make sure you watch you are watching Weight Loss Wednesdays. Make sure you watch.
What is this?
It is called the Ergo. And I'm going to be interviewing the chefs that know how to use this very soon on Healthy Living Live. And then I'm going to start using it myself. It's an air fryer. It stir fries. It can make chapati and tortilla and all kinds of things.
What's chapati?
It's like a tortilla, I think an Indian tortilla or something. So this is really heavy. So you're going to learn
like
how
a
to use this.
fish.
And this was the grand prize of the conference. And Robin won it, so congratulations. So let me bring out this little table to, whoa, things are falling. So one of the conversations we're having on and excuse my voice because I completely lost it talking for 3 days. One of the things we're discussing on the Facebook page, which is a private secret group, so if you're not in Ultimate Weight Loss, especially if you went to the conference, please consider joining because that's where all the magic happens, is what our takeaways were from the conference. And so for me, I got a bunch of takeaways because so many of you gave me wonderful presents. Thank you so much. Some of you didn't write your name on it, so I'm going to show them right now so you can tell me who you were. And if you did write your name on it, maybe this will count as your thank you, so I won't have to write an official thank you. So this was a beautiful thank you card, but you didn't say who it was from, so please tell me who it's from. So Kim, who lives in Las Vegas, who has a wonderful health food store. Charles, do you know the name of her store so we can promote it? She got me these 2 really cool teas. One is called Skinny Bliss and one is called Sleepy Bliss. I guess the rationale is you drink the Sleepy Bliss and you're so tired you can't eat, and then you have Skinny Bliss. So I can't wait to try these. Thank you so much, Kim. Hezbollah gave me this really cool light. You probably can't see it on the air because of the lights that we use to film, but this is beautiful. Thank you, Hezbollah. I hope I pronounced your name right. So I don't remember who gave me this, but it's purple and I love it. So please tell me who you are. So this is really cool cup. You freeze it. Anytime something's purple, you know I'm gonna love it. So, oh, Janine Elder from Potato Wisdom gifted me with this. We sold a lot of these at the conference. It's just, she's a really cool graphic designer. Well, she's more than that, but it says Weapons of Fat Destruction. Can you see that okay, Eden? And it's just such a cute, I actually bought one, I bought 11 of them for all the people that spoke, and this one I'm gonna give to Mary McDougall, but she gifted me one. These are adorable. You can get them on her website, Potato Wisdom. Let's see. So Tara gave me this JP, you're gonna think this is so cool, because we talk a lot about essential oils, I think episode 72, but many times. It's this bracelet, and you put the essential oil on it, so if you're at a party and you don't wanna be like using it because you're embarrassed, you can just be like sniffing your bracelet. So that's really cool. Okay, what else did I get? Oh, here's the card. So it's this beautiful, beautiful thing. Oh, you wrote on the back. Oh, silly me. Never mind. I see that you wrote on the back. Okay, which is good because I could have regifted that. So Sherry gave me, I didn't wear these today, but I will wear these. Look at these Carmen Miranda earrings. Are these not so AJ? Look at this. Cool, cool, cool. I love these. Thank you so much. And, oh my God, I'm going to have to run back because Beth gave me a pair of earrings I didn't bring out. All right, so Heather gave me a million, well not a million, but probably 20 pair of socks with all different vegetables on them. These are carrots. I didn't bring every single one out. Plus, she gave me this really cool fanny pack that can be worn many different ways. So thank you, Heather. That's Heather, who lost 300 pounds. She has her own channel, the Butterfly Effect, plant-based weight loss. One of our vendors, who's also a friend, so I call them frienders, Jocelyn Grave, who wrote the low-fat herbivore, which my black bean mushroom chili is based on, gave me all 3 of her books, so thank you so much for that. And one of them is dedicated to me. I've never had that happen, so thanks. So, Janine's book, which previously was only available as an ebook, is now available as a real book. Not that an ebook isn't a real book, but one that you can hold in your hands and look at your pictures. So that's really cool right there. So Ashley, well, this was part of the carnival. We had a booth that looked just like Peanuts. The doctor is in, psychiatric advice for 5 cents that Dr. Lyle and Dr. Goldhammer manned for like 2 hours till all the questions were answered, and I couldn't bring it all home, so I brought this home. So thank you, Ashley. Your artwork is extraordinary, and thank you, BJ, for creating the booth. So here's some stuff. Pure health food in Las Vegas. That's Kim's store. So these are things that I found. Now these weren't gifts. I actually bought them with my own money. There was a store right across from the hotel where nothing was more than $20. So look at this really cool onesie I got, which is soft and purple. We had a LuLaRoe representative there, over 1,000 pairs. What's great about LuLaRoe is they fit every size. So these are my new pair. I got kiwi.
Like those melons.
Aren't they cool? I got kiwi and I got berries. So this probably makes 40 pair of leggings for me now. Now, Be Mon Pas has new flavors, or at least I didn't taste these before. Glazed onion. Unbelievable, yep, especially those of us that want savory. She also had a rosemary onion, but I preferred the glazed onion. This is one of her best flavors for savory. And she created, thank you so much, Chef Terry, a new flavor just for the conference, which is either available on her website now or will be soon. We ran a contest in the Ultimate Weight Loss Vegas group asking for flavor suggestions. And she picked the one that she liked the most, that she felt would make the best vinegar. We were looking for more savory because a lot of the vinegars are already sweet. It is called Tuscan Sun. It was created, the suggestion was by Sharon McRae.
So yummy.
It is so good. It is sun-dried tomato, basil, garlic, and oregano. It'll knock your socks off. And I got one more present. Beth Schmidt gave me, no, 2 more actually. Beth Schmidt gave me really cool earrings, but I just wore them so in the back. They're made out of purple glass. I'll bring them out. Kelly Williamson and Jerry Casado, who produced the Plant-Based Summit, gave me a gift certificate to Sephora. The most incredible amount that I cannot believe it. Thank you. And I went to Sephora today to have my makeup done because I was shooting, and I want to thank Sammy Ramos, my makeup artist at Sephora. You can follow her on Instagram at _Sammy Ramos _SAMIRAMOS. She's amazing. Oh, Charles brought me the earrings that Beth gave me. It might be hard to see with the lights, but they're purple and they're really cool.
Do you want to mention where people can get the LuLaRoe leggings?
Yeah, I would contact me on Facebook and I'll give you the name of my representative because she's amazing. Because every other representative was like, no, I'm not going to sell them to you if you don't have a party. Well, Maureen will sell them to you if you don't have a party. She will, actually, you do PayPal and pay for postage. She'll send you a pair. And most of the LuLaRoe people, they charge like they charge like $25. It was, for the show, it was like, what was it? It was $16 a piece. It was incredible. But anyway, so this was the dress I wore at the meet and greet. And we got a lot of fun comments about this. This is my mentor, Dr. Goldhammer. And Myra wore a similar dress, but with just me. And Shada wore one that I had for her birthday that was SOS free. So that is about it for me with the highlights of the conference. And, of course there were highlights other than that. Those weren't highlights. Those are take-homes. So JP, you want to join me and we'll answer some questions?
And you don't answer your Facebook messages, correct?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot answer Facebook messages. So if you send me a Facebook message, it's like sending it to the air. I am not on Facebook except as a group here. I don't have a personal page, which is why you can't friend me. I don't want any friends because I'm too busy monitoring my group all day. That's my job. So if you have something to tell me, especially if you're in the Ultimate Weight Loss, then ask on the group page or send me an email or go through the website eatunprocessed.com because I can't check Facebook messages. I don't have Messenger on my phone. So what will show up, like for instance, Kenny, who's like right here, sends me something through Facebook Messenger. So it'll tell me that he sent me something, but I can't check it. So now I gotta call Kenny up and ask him what he sent me. So please don't send me Facebook messages or Instagram messages because I don't know how to check any of that. So what was the biggest takeaway for you from the conference?
Wow. Well, first of all, you got so many great presents. That was
yeah,
wonderful.
no. What did you get?
Nothing.
Oh my God, that's
I had a
so
good
sad.
time though.
That's
But
sad.
I will say this: the best present I think you got the whole entire conference was actually Charles. Charles was like your personal assistant. It was pretty amazing
That's
because
not
all I ever heard
true.
is "Where's Charles? Where's Charles?" She just kept screaming, and then Charles would come running. It was amazing.
That's not
So we got to give it up for Charles again. Of course, none of this would happen without Charles. So.
Yay, Charles.
Yay, Charles. He's home today. It takes us a week to recover. I think one of my favorite moments, there were two favorite moments. So the night of the carnival, which was the second night, we played a Family Feud game, but all the questions were based on Ultimate Weight Loss. We did, Teresa, thank you, did Survey Monkey. We had a famous comedian named Steve Middleman. You can watch him on episode 55, Making Middies Mash, or you can Google him. He's been on The Tonight Show many times. He's a fabulous comedian. He hosted
Nice
the game.
guy.
And we had the Scott family and the McRae family, and little Jermaine was asked what his favorite starch was, and he said hot dog. Now, we know he meant carrot dog because they're vegan, but it was just, it cracked
wow.
Dr. Goldhammer up. And then the other thing I liked is when I was doing the joint Q&A, which you can see on this Facebook page right here or on YouTube, please consider subscribing to Chef AJ YouTube if you haven't, is, so I was saying, I made Dr. Goldhammer laugh. And I said, you like me, don't you? And he was like this. I said, come on, you like me down deep inside. And he goes, very deep. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Hey, if you got him to say something, that's good.
Made him to laugh. So we're almost ready to sign the contract for next year. Promise to be bigger and better. So start saving those pennies now.
You do remember after the first one, there wasn't going to be a second one. I had to
but
do some arm
now
bending.
I'm kind of stuck because it's so popular. We had almost 450 people
Amazing.
there, and we'll be announcing the keynote very soon. It's two people are in the running. I'll talk to you about it later. So it'll also be who's available. So anybody in the we're doing this in front of a live audience here. We have Crystal and Charles and Kenny. Were there any big moments or takeaways from you guys that you liked? Or?
Well, I mentioned it earlier on the boards, but the men's group.
Men's group was
a really amazing event.
Yep. It was to help men that possibly weren't as supportive as they could be learn how to support their spouse with food addiction, because most of the time it's just because they didn't understand.
Yeah.
It helped them understand the situation a lot better.
That's great.
And AJ wanted to do it. She wanted to dress up as a man and actually do it, but
They wouldn't let
we
us do
decided
it.
I would
Yeah.
do it. So
So today we just, if there's time, we'll answer your live questions, but we thought we would, since the people came to the conference, if they had questions, we would answer those
Okay.
first. Some of these you won't be able to answer, like the one from Dawn, the recipe for the fiesta dressing at the conference. The food was, I know you don't eat because you're alien. Nobody's ever seen John Pierre eat, but the food was incredible. I think it's the best conference food I've ever had, and every year the chefs keep getting better. First day of the barefoot dressing, I knew there was something a little off.
Wow.
And they said, oh, I didn't put all the nutritional yeast in because I was worried. And I said, please, tomorrow do it. Perfected it. And so the thing is, what you guys have to understand is it's way different writing a cookbook that's meant to serve 4 people and serving 500 people. And so you got to double, and it's so different. And so when I asked the chef and the sous chef what that dressing was, they said, well, we just got it from your book. It didn't exactly taste like mine. It was just really good. So I'm wondering if they combined my fiesta dressing with my fire roasted salsa. I don't know. It's not like I can email them or call them, but I can ask the lady in charge of catering if she could get some more specific information. But it was absolutely delicious. You're right, Dawn. It was my favorite thing
Joe
on
says the
Sunday.
food was amazable.
It was. And, you know, they took their own chef, you know, I don't want to micromanage them, so they took their own creative liberties. So, for example, the roasted balsamic Dijon glazed Brussels sprouts, on Sunday, they weren't crisp like I do it. It seems to me like they had steamed them and then put the glaze on, but it doesn't matter. It was delicious, you know. So, all right. This is a good one because Ashley, who made the peanuts replica, said,
awesome.
is the chocolate infused vinegar compliant? So there's 2 flavors of Chef Terry's that I recommend most people avoid. One is the one that's honey because it's not vegan, especially if you're vegan. And I don't really recommend the chocolate ones for most people. I'm going to say most people in UWL. Now I'm going to say that it's always good, better, best. So if having a little bit of a chocolate-infused vinegar on your strawberries is going to keep you from going to Baskin Robbins and having a hot fudge sundae, then I might say okay. But the problem is, I think anytime you use chocolate, even if it's a very low-calorie form like this, it's just going to keep those tastes alive. I don't see people buying the chocolate vinegar to put it on the steamed kale like they do sesame ginger vinegar. I see them buying it to make something that's already pretty hyper-palatable, like banana ice cream, more hyper-palatable. But again, you know, she's a young girl and she's in good shape, and if that's going to keep her away from the Snickers, I'm going to say it might be a good thing. But I would say so I don't know, is it compliant? It's technically, well, I would say probably not because we don't recommend chocolate in our program. But again, if that's going to keep her on the program and not having real chocolate, then I'm going to give it a maybe. So what do you say
It's a
about
shaded
that?
gray, so I think it's as long as it doesn't set you off. But you do have to be careful because once you get a taste of that, then you start thinking, well, what if I just had some like cocoa powder with some stevia?
Yeah.
I found a nice recipe, and then you're like, well, maybe now I like it, but I'll go with cocoa powder and agave.
Right.
And then before you know it, you know, it's a downward
Yeah,
spiral.
for me, it would be a very slippery slope. I mean,
Yeah.
even when I smell chocolate, it's like, you know, it's too intoxicating, like coffee.
You used to snort it.
I would do that as a joke during the cooking. And I forgot, this shirt was a gift from Sherry Lee, whose birthday was yesterday. So happy
Nice.
birthday! Yeah, absolutely. So it's like Chef Terry says, condiment responsibly. You know, so people, you know, because we have another question from Darla about the vinegar. She goes, curious about the sugar level in these vinegars. They're so good. So I did an interview with Chef Terry. If you go to my YouTube page and just put in Chef Terry, you can see everything she says about how many grams of sugar. That's on her website. So again, we're not suggesting that you drink this bottle. I mean, I got a 1-gallon bottle, and
I saw that.
it lasted me a year. So
You
I
just
don't,
got a new one, right?
right, and I still have a little bit left. It's on the bottom shelf, Charles. Do not ask her for a gallon. She only does it for me. But the point is I use like 2 tablespoons. I'm not using it every day. I mean, this lasted me. Actually, I got this at the last conference, and I'm almost done with it. So I'm talking, this is a year of eating salads every day. So I'm having like 2 tablespoons. I'm not saturating my food in it, and then, you know, so for me it's not a problem. But again, when in doubt, leave it out, right?
I agree.
You know, I feel good about it because I don't believe Dr. Esselstyn would sell it at his conference. And this is the same vendor, Chef Terry from Being One Pause. I don't think Dr. Esselstyn would have them at his conference for reversing heart disease if it wasn't an acceptable product. And he's even said that balsamic vinegar helps you absorb the nitric oxide in the greens when you put a little bit on. So again, if it's a problem for you, don't use it, but she does not add sugar to any of them. They're made from grapes. All right. Sherry wants to know at the buffet what type of kale was that. I have to ask Janice to be sure, but visually, because it was cut up small, it looked like lacinato to me because it was the dark green and it wasn't curly. Okay. Colleen wants to know if the talks are still available. Well, if you bought the feed when it was at a discounted price, you're going to get it. If you didn't, it is going to be available as soon as Gustavo gets back home, but it's not going to be at the discounted price, which is why we ask you to get it that. So Mary wants to know, she wants to know where I got the custom dress and where Shada got her t-shirt that says carve the 4-letter word up. You got to text me, Mary, because I don't remember right now. One was set up by Myra, and the other one is a guy named Jeff who I just emailed. So text me, Mary, and I'll get you that information. This is a fun question. I'm going to let you handle it first. So Sherry said, I guess there was somebody in the conference that doesn't eat this way yet, or is in UWL. She said, somebody asked me about this after having lunch at your conference. She went to the restroom about 6 to 7 times. If she continues to eat this way, do you know approximately how long this will last for her?
Well, you're the expert on that, aren't you?
On pooping? Why am I the expert
Well,
on
because
pooping?
you've had some issues with that.
Well, yeah, you know, the thing is my guess is she's detoxing. If somebody is pooping 6 to 7 times after one meal, she's probably full of shit. And I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean literally. Because if Americans are eating 92% of their calories from animal products and processed food, they're getting no fiber. And I mean, so many Americans I know, poop once a week, and they strain to poop. And so to me, this is a good thing,
Yeah, I mean, but some people who are coming to the program new cannot handle all that fiber.
Right.
So they really have to ease into it. Because the
Right.
average American's lucky to get 5 to 15 grams of fiber. Someone who's really healthy vegan eats up to 70 to 100 grams of fiber a day. So you just can't go from 0 to 60.
Right. But this is what was served at the conference.
Yeah, I know.
And
But she would have been better off, she didn't know any better, eating a little bit less vegetables and a little bit more starch.
I mean, because we had tons of starch. Every day
Yeah.
we had some kind of a grain, like rice or wild rice, always had some kind of a bean, and we had potatoes both days, sweet potatoes and potatoes. So again, if she's used to eating a fiberless diet, I think any fiber would probably have triggered her. So again, I don't know the answer to that because I think it will normalize.
Yeah.
I know some people who attended the conference who are part of UWL said that they were going to the bathroom pooping more often at the conference. So maybe that's a sign that they're not compliant.
Eating enough. Or
We
they're
were
not.
totally compliant for this couple days. It
That's
was
right.
awesome.
Everybody lost weight at the conference. Me and Bailey each came home 3 pounds lighter. It's amazing, and I think it's because we still ate large volumes of food, but it was 2 meals a day. There was no snacking.
You were
There was
running around quite a bit.
running around like crazy.
So was Bailey.
Bailey was the mascot. So, all right. So, let's see where this question was. Okay. Oh, a couple of these two are similar, so I'm going to put them together. Okay. Deb says, is it possible to trade a food addiction for another? I talked with a woman at lunch on Sunday who has been to many different SOS type conferences and admitted she has all the knowledge, but it doesn't sink in. Could it be that we trade one addiction for another? Well, first, I don't know any other SOS conference, so tell me.
SOS free, you mean?
SOS free, so tell me about that. And I believe that you can, I've heard it say that you never really overcome an addiction, you just find a healthier one, but I don't know what that has to do with having the knowledge and not applying it.
Well, yeah, and also she's using the techniques that we specifically say in our program, everything from essential oils to sequencing your meals, to meditation, vision boards, all that.
Yeah. So I don't know if having the knowledge and not applying it has to do with trading one addiction for the other, unless her new addiction is learning. But learning is great, but what's that saying? Faith without works is dead. So we have so many people that are just brilliant in our group that understand the science back and forth and can spout it faster than me, but they don't apply it. So if it's a choice between knowing it and doing it, I recommend doing it.
Well, and that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is the collecting of data, and wisdom is being able to put it to use.
Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, so Jean has a question. She says, is falling into the pleasure trap consolation for people stuck in the ego trap? So this is a complicated question, and it would probably be better for Dr. Lyle when I interview him later this month. If you want to understand
Question.
5 cents. If you want to understand the difference between the pleasure trap and the ego trap, watch the video that I posted on YouTube yesterday. It's called Dr. Goldhammer, Dr. Lyle, live from Las Vegas, where he explains what the pleasure trap is, what the ego trap is. So is it a consolation? I looked up the exact definition of consolation, and it says it means comfort received by a person after a loss or disappointment. So I don't see how being in the pleasure trap would make somebody comfortable at all. I mean, temporarily.
Temporarily, sure.
But I don't know how to answer that question. That's a
I
Dr.
don't know
Lyle
either.
question. I'm so sorry. So, because a lot of people are both in the pleasure trap and the ego trap at the same time. Some people are just in the ego trap, and some people are just in the pleasure trap. He talks about how they're diametrically opposed forces, like the Chinese little toy you had when you were little. And it might be worth knowing what both of those are, but why should we tell you when you could just watch Dr. Lyle, who explains it so much better than you
He's
do.
the expert.
He's the expert. Okay, and you can have a session with him for $75. Just go to esteemdynamics.com. All right, so Sherry has a question, and so does Joni. They're a little bit similar, so I'll read them both. Joni wants to know, can you ever lose too much weight too quickly while being compliant? And then Sherry says, first she says, I really don't know what questions to ask because it seems like the program is very simple, but we make it difficult at times.
Yeah.
This is simple. It's just not easy, but it is simple. You eat all the fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes you want as often as you want without sofas, sugar, oil, flour, alcohol, salt. Move your body a little, think good thoughts, and you're good. But yes, people do often make it more difficult, worrying about these reductionist things like, absorbing the micronutrients in their grains if they don't have nuts in every meal and things like that, or how they boil the potatoes. So people do make it harder, majoring in minor things. So she says, I'm wondering now that I'm finally in normal weight range, how you decide what your goal weight should be, or do you just let your body decide for you? I feel like I need to lose at least 20 more pounds, but the BMI for my height has a 40-pound range. So I'm not sure when I'll know. And so both these questions are, I think, about kind of related. So I'll let you go first.
Well, first of all, I don't follow BMIs. I would go to do what Carrie does, the BIA.
Absolutely.
Bioimpedance, so you can see how many pounds of muscle, how many pounds of fat.
Because we don't want you to lose numbers or weight. We want you to lose actual fat.
Exactly. And gain muscle. That's a big mistake.
Right.
People are trying to lose weight and they actually end up losing muscle, which is weight, and that's the worst thing you can do.
Right. Because the thing is, people say, there's this new movement of health at any size. About these certain bloggers are like, well, I'm fat and I'm just going to accept myself. And that's fine. The problem is that it's not about being fat, it's about having fat. The risk for disease, the risk for cancer is so much higher for people that have more fat on their body, more adiposity, that are overweight or obese, especially. Dr. Barnard talked about this. And Dr. Stoll at the last conference was saying how, especially in women, well, maybe in men too, I'm not sure, but fat is a strong, meaning fat, the fat on your body, not so much the dietary fat, is a strong promoter of estrogen, and that circulating estrogen is a strong promoter of cancer. Yeah. And so that's what we worry about you having too much fat on your body, not about how you necessarily look. And so in June, Dr. Furman was at a conference that Charles and I attended, and he was talking about how I know you're not for BMIs, but he's saying they're completely skewed. So what he's saying is people spout statistics like that right now over 70% of Americans are overweight and more than half of those are obese. He said we skewed these charts. So in other words, like Marilyn Monroe, I don't know what size she was, but whatever size she was, today that size would be smaller. So in other words, the clothing industry, because our country has gotten so obese, people don't want to wear a 16 or an 18, so now they're calling it a 12. So whatever size you are, add about 4 to 6 more sizes. That's what you really are in today's fashion world. And so Dr. Furman said they did the same thing with the BMI chart, because if they really did it what was it's supposed to be, 89% of people would be overweight or obese. So there would be like 11% of people that were of normal weight. So the thing I would say though is definitely get that BIA test. If you didn't get it this time in Vegas with Carrie, maybe she'll be back next year. But she's not the only person that does it. I've seen it at hospitals.
Well, you can go on the site too. You can go on Carrie's site and they'll tell you where to go.
Yeah,
But
drfood.org.
Also, you look in the mirror and you see body fat on you. Yeah. And so there you need to lose.
Is that true about, can you pinch more than an inch? Is that true?
No, I wouldn't worry about that. I mean,
that's not.
I'm saying if somebody sees, 20, 30 pounds of body fat, do you really need to go getting all these tests done. You see a body fat to lose, and that's it. I've had girls come to my boot camp before, and they're so messed up in their brain, they literally would pinch their knee, and skin would come out, and they'd say, "Look, JP, I gotta lose this fat."
I know.
It's like, what?
Well, that's the other thing, because this is a great topic, and we can spend a little bit of time on it because we don't have any more questions from the group. Is that I'm not going to say her name because I think she watches, and I love you. She is as slender as I am, or more so, and she does not see it, and it's not because even of a recent weight loss. A lot of people have body dysmorphia,
Yeah, of course.
and that's what anorexia is, by the way. And so the thing is we want you to be lean enough to be healthy, meaning so that you don't have this huge risk for cancer and diabetes and things like that and heart disease. But we want you to be comfortable and happy with yourself. And so I can't remember which interview it was with Dr. Goldhammer because I don't have the eidetic memory like McDougall where I can say September 2003
You have a
newsletter.
pretty good memory.
I have a good one, but not as good. But he talked about how not everyone has to be model thin or rail thin. Now, you work with celebrities that have to be if they want to work. Some of them, some of the females. I've had once a famous model and a famous actress as clients that were more slender than me. But the director said, if you don't lose 5 pounds, you don't get the job. In the case of the model, it was about fitting into whatever she had to fit into, and in the case of the actress, it was because the camera angle made her look fat. Which so the thing is, I was still able to help these people with the diet we teach. It still works. It still works on thin people. But for Joni's question, you don't lose weight until 0. I mean, even people that are anorexic don't go to 0.
What do you mean 0?
Well, meaning like
Size 0.
No, or 0 pounds. So
Oh,
what I'm
right.
saying is even people that are anorexic and weigh 70, 60, 90 pounds, you don't, I mean, they may die, but you don't lose weight till you weigh nothing. Your bones, your skin. So the thing is I've never seen anybody follow this program, eating to the left of the red line, that got to a weight so low where it was dangerously low. I've never seen anybody get below 18.5 unless they came to the program already anorexic, which we have a couple people in the group. The group is not suitable for them, and Dr. Lyle has told us to not have them in the group, but you did not want to ask them to leave.
Well, because I think a lot of those people maybe not be quite appropriate, but we may be their only anchor they have to help.
Or people that eat this way.
Yeah.
So the thing is, Joni, you don't lose weight to 0. I've never, or even to underweight. We haven't seen that. If you do, okay, let's talk Joni first and Sherry second. If that were to happen, which we've never seen, there's a couple things you could do. Number one, you could just eat more food, particularly starch.
Less vegetables, actually.
Less fat. Yes, this is where, and this is probably the most challenging thing for people new to the program, is to find that sweet start between starch and vegetables. And that's why we give you guidelines and I show you what I eat, but there are people that need to eat more starch than me that are athletic, and there's people that are very slow losers. There are people that are hypothyroid. I'm hypothyroid, but I take the medicine. There are people we have in the group that refuse to medicate, and they're very slow losers. They might need to eat more vegetables. The thing is what people don't understand, they think, you eat vegetables for breakfast, that's all you eat. No, this is a starch-based program. The majority of your calories on the Ultimate Weight Loss Program have to come from starch. For most people, that's going to be about 75%. Some people, it might be 50-50, but your majority of your calories will come from starch, because without starch, you will not have the energy to do your activities of daily living, and you will not have satiety. The vegetables are the volume comes from that from a lot of people.
Well, and
but
all the nutrients are really
absolutely. So the thing is Joni, if you felt you were losing too much weight, first of all, I'd ask you, what was your result if you had the BIA or your BMI? Because what's happening is a lot of people, like Myra posted this, is that people are telling the people that are just normal that they're too thin because they're not thin. And that's happening a lot to the women in the group. They're saying, well, you're too thin, you don't look good, you're not healthy, when their doctors and everybody in our circle is saying they look fabulous. So that's one thing, is because they're being told they're too thin when they're really not. It's just that everybody around them is so heavy.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, if you're 20 pounds overweight today, you're completely normal.
Well, not even 20, it's more like 30, because I think they say the average woman is 5'4" and 160 pounds, so she's obese.
Well, and the other thing is, remember, when somebody says they're too thin, okay, I mean, if you feel that you're losing weight too much, first of all, what is weight? Is it muscle or is it fat? Start putting on muscle. As I've said from day one, there's not a woman alive that's over 40 within reason that doesn't need to be pounding muscle every day. Every single day you can be putting muscle on.
You lose weight in the kitchen, you build muscle in the gym.
You have to, because the muscle, you start losing muscle very quickly, and women have less testosterone, so it's not as easy for them to have it. So if you want weight on your body, let it be muscle and bone weight.
The other thing you could do, and I don't recommend this for everyone because the people that experimented with this gained more weight than they wanted to quickly, is to start adding some fats back. I recommend the first fat you add back if you're eating a no added fat diet is that tablespoon of flax or chia.
Ground.
Because we've had people that went from no added fat and that tablespoon of flax or chia every day. After a month, they did gain about a few pounds, not a lot.
I remember reading that on the
Right.
boards.
So be mindful, and then if you're already having your flax or chia, you could try some nuts or seeds. I would not go with the full ounce. I'd do like a quarter an ounce a day first, moving up to a half. See if that affects your weight, or a little bit of avocado. A serving of avocado is 2 tablespoons. It's not
the
very
problem
much.
with avocado is when you cut an avocado,
I know.
and you just take a little piece,
You got
the
the
rest
rest.
is in the refrigerator and it's banging on your head all
I know,
day.
that is the problem.
So you have to be careful because you're like, oh, it's going to get spoiled. I don't want to waste it. I need to eat it, right?
Right.
So I think avocado is super healthy.
What?
That was in the seminar.
Yeah, we taught that. So here's the thing, Joni, are you too thin because somebody told you were too thin, or because you're really too thin? We need to see what numbers you're
Well,
doing.
and also when you say you're too thin, how much muscle do you have?
Right.
In other words, you could be very, very thin like an athlete. Look at a professional bodybuilder. Their body fat could be 5%. Are they too thin? No, they're massive with muscle.
Yeah.
So as I've said from day one, get muscle.
And the thing is, if you see, we go so much about how we look, but this is again to go back to Sherry's question: is she done because the BMI has a 40-pound range? I would ask both Joni and Sherry, how do you feel? How do you feel in your body? Do you have energy? Are you getting sick? What is your immunity like? I would ask you how you feel, and how do you feel you look? Not how others are telling you look. How do you feel you look? The truth is the body will find its weight. In nature, there's no weighing and measuring. Animals are not overweight, including human. So if you keep eating this way, your body will find its natural weight. I have weighed 117 pounds now at 5'6" for 5 years with no more than a 3-pound weight fluctuation either way. No matter what I do, I don't gain more than 3 pounds. I don't lose more than 3 pounds. And so that's been the case with most people on this program. You have a little bit of a range, and I didn't know I was going to weigh this. I was happy at 127. I have in my slideshow, that's what I show. I don't have a picture at this weight, and I was fine. People said I looked fine. Some people said I looked better, 10 pounds heavier. I was a 6 instead of a 4. But also, what is your why? We talked about this with, I believe, who was it that said the why? Dr. Rosanne Alviero, fabulous speaker over the weekend. She said, you want to find the why that makes you cry. And so for me, I don't have to be, but according to my doctors, at least my orthopedic doctor, specifically my knee doctor, he wants me this thin, or he said even thinner. He said you could probably lose a few more pounds because every pound of weight you have is 5 pounds to your knees. And we have a lot of people, Philip was posting recently about how he has arthritis, and even though he's lost 70 pounds, you might argue that for him maybe being a little bit leaner would help because he has joint pain, you know what I'm saying? So for me, my goal in life is to avoid, one of my goals in life is to avoid knee surgery. I don't want to have anything done to my joints before I die. And I want to die with my original parts. So I want to be this lean, but again, I don't do anything to be this lean. This is just where my body landed. And we all have different body types. Yours might be heavier than me, but again, those BMI charts, they're just crazy. Like 40 pounds is a lot. That makes a big difference. So I would say just keep eating left of the red line, SOFA's free. See where you land. Right? Are there any live questions, Eden? Because we don't have any.
I know Nikki's watching. I think she's driving through probably South
Dakota.
Yeah, South Dakota.
Wait,
right
which
now.
Nikki?
Nikki, make sure you get gas every chance you get, because I've driven through South Dakota. It's scary shit. Make sure you get gas.
Why is Nikki
every
in South
single
Dakota?
gas station
She's
you
driving
visit.
around.
Valerie Young has a question. How long does yummy sauce last in the fridge?
That is a good
If
question.
you make it right, it shouldn't last very long.
Well, yeah, again, it's such a good answer. I always think about Ben Franklin, who said fish and visitors smell in 3 days. So I always say a minimum of 3 days. Yummy sauce is basically kind of a hummus-like thing, and the thing is none of my recipes have salt, and salt is what preserves food. So I would say 3 to 5 days. The first thing I do, I look at it. If it's got something growing on it, don't eat it. If it looks fine, then I smell it. And if it still smells okay, then I go like this and I taste it and then I eat it. It might be freezable. I don't know. But definitely dehydratable, and then you could rehydrate it at your destination. I learned the coolest thing from Howard in the group. I really didn't quite understand there was a difference between freeze drying and dehydration. I thought it was the same thing, but no, there's a machine that freeze dries food. And he took my red lentil chili and he freeze dried it, and he did like some kind of hermetically seal. And boy, that is the coolest
Do
thing.
you know how
for
expensive those machines are?
I don't know. Maybe
It wouldn't be
May-
compliant to eat like freeze dried fruit, for example, though.
No, but freeze dried
Freeze-dried
vegetables
fruit,
that you rehydrate, or freeze dried red lentil chili.
They call it astronaut food, actually.
That's really cool. Like for camping.
But I mean, he maybe could afford it. I don't know.
I don't know.
If he can afford it, it's definitely an expensive.
It's pretty.
machine.
It was pretty cool though. What he
Bless
what,
him if
what
he
I
can
saw.
afford it.
We have another question. Someone wants to help send their daughter to school, like a teenager to school with good, healthy food. Any recommendations of food to take to school for kids?
Well, there are. Does she mean college or high school?
I think high
Teenager.
school. Teenager.
Oh.
Well, almost all kids in high school, women, girls eat salads, so you can always sneak every. The
No,
tofurkey stuff tastes just like regular meat. Everyone tells
Right.
me.
It's very high in sodium. I don't.
Well, yeah, but I'm
Sherry
saying.
Jeff Mazad.
Is this her daughter?
That's the person who's.
Well, the other thing is it depends on what the kids' restrictions are. Can they eat gluten? Can they eat a higher fat diet? Sharon McRae's kids, they can eat that stuff. They take salt-free Ezekiel bread with almond butter as their lunch, and then you're eating a sandwich. Nobody thinks you're weird for eating a sandwich. I would.
Well, that's what I'm
think.
saying. If you made a sandwich that looked like a lunch meat sandwich,
Right.
but it was really tofurkey, no one's gonna.
Or something
Right.
like that. If it was a college student, I would say get the Mama Says food. I interviewed her last Wednesday.
Oh,
You
right.
can find it on my page. She's coming out with a completely SOS-free line, and that would be great for high school. Charles, can you cool it off a little bit in here? Whew. We're under lights. It's like we're being interrogated. So, if you're watching now, please consider sharing this broadcast in real time with your friends. And if you've been watching us a long time, this is episode 90. I have no idea how we're on the air so long, but apparently people watch.
It's like Johnny Carson.
Well, because I keep saying I'm not going to do it anymore, and then I stop, and people please keep doing it. Like 2 people on the airplane recognized me on Southwest. It was so weird, just from this show.
So many people came up to me at the conference and said,
Are having a visual difficulty with the broadcast, that's probably on your end,
It's always
not
on
on
your
ours.
end, guys.
Because it looks perfect.
Right, because so many
right
people
now.
say they can't see and they can't hear, and then within 24 hours I put it on YouTube and it's fine. So it depends if they're watching on a phone, a tablet, or a computer. So that it's not on our end. When it's on our end, we know because we get this little signal that tells us that. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Chef AJ, please do that. Please subscribe to my mailing list, eatunprocessed.com. JP's website is livingwithharmony.org, which you can make as your Amazon Smile. So those few pennies for every purchase can go to help save animals. You have another website, johnpierre.com, right? With recommendations, things like that. If you live in the LA area, I have only 2 more classes.
Makeup artists are exposed constantly to lots of chemicals all the time, whether you're breathing it in, you're applying it, it's going into your nose, powders or sprays, and it gets through your skin. And that's one of the most important things, is to make sure your fruits and vegetable levels are super high, because they help chelate or grab onto those toxins and escort them out the body. If you're a makeup artist and you eat a standard American diet, it would be horrible.
Yeah.
Because not only those foods horrible for you, but then these pesticides, or if you want to call them pesticides or chemicals, get stored in that fat tissue. That's really scary.
And there's so many wonderful vegan brands now that aren't
Oh, yeah.
tested on.
Oh,
I mean, there's
absolutely.
brands that aren't vegan, but they aren't tested on animals, which is still preferred to brands that are tested on animals.
Of
And then
course.
there's vegan brands that are vegan and also not tested on animals. And
Right.
so people say, what kind of makeup I use? I go to Sephora and I say I'm vegan, and they honor that. So I use different. I don't have a brand. I mean,
Say PETA approved, or say
Yeah.
non-tested on
And
animals.
even better would be cruelty-free, which is no testing, and also vegan,
And
so
vegan.
that there's no animal products or byproducts in them.
Yes, good
so
point.
just want to tell you guys that True North has like a 2 to 5 month waiting list now. So there's this wonderful, wonderful place that you could sew both sides in, that me and Eden have been to.
Fasting
Called the
Escape.
Fasting Escape. Dr. Nate Gershfeld was a staff doctor at True North, opened up his own beautiful place in Yorba Linda. It's near Disneyland. It's a paradise. And